Hi, welcome to 2020 Tasty Treats with GourmetQuilter. I'm Susan Clare, GourmetQuilter, and we're having a whole lot of fun with our leftovers, our fabric leftovers, and because leftovers are so delicious. So we've set up a whole pantry for our leftovers. So this one here is what I've set up for my pantry. I've just got some drawers that I've labelled with different measurements on them, because when I find when I've, and the drawers are so exciting, there's so many things in them. I do like pantries like that. What I find when I've made a project, perhaps we've made a whole quilt and we've just probably got some little pieces left that we may be full width of fabric, they may not be, but we can cut those into strips that we can then use rather than just having a pile of leftovers. If we cut them into particular size strips or down into other units and things, we can use them more readily. They're just ready for us and itching to be used. So that's why I've set the pantry up. I find I work really well like that. And so this time I've got a couple of ideas of ways to use things. So what we've been doing is cutting the strips, stocking the pantry, making all sorts of units, and now we're combining some of those units, and it's so much fun. And actually today we're converting a unit. So there are some notes available that support this series. There's 20 in the series. We're up to number 17 on GourmetQuilter.com if you're looking for more information. So today I thought I'd show you how we can convert. So earlier we made a unit 3, and this would have been unit 3C, which was 4 rectangles sewn together basically to form a square. And so we're going to convert that today into a unit 6, which is a snowball. So really it's just adding 4 corners. So, and there's some up behind me, and I'll talk about those in a minute. So what I've done is I've added 2 different colours basically, and in opposite corners. Now I'll talk a little bit more about that. So up here I've got these units here. You can see it's that same unit, and if you just alternate the direction, you can come up with this really fun, fairly quick and easy quilt. Uses up lots of things. Now I've chosen to do it all in blues with the yellows and the greens. You could do any number of different colour combinations or multicolour. It's quite nice if these stand out as well, so that works really well. However, if you're going to do this turning, you do need to make sure that you alternate where those colours are. So to be able to turn it, you need to have, in my case, the greens on that corner, so you need to swap them around so that you can turn the block, because if you don't, you'll find that you get all the colours sitting together instead of this nice alternating where it joins in here, because this one here, for instance, is made the same way as that one. If I simply turn that, I'm finding that my colours are sitting together. So you do need to make some blocks one way and some the other if you're going to use those 2 colours like that. So that's kind of a fun thing to do, using up some rectangles and some corner squares. The other thing is you could then, so that's this idea that I've got here that talks about that. You could go one step further with that, and you could decide you don't want to just do the whole thing in the rectangles, and you could put some alternate, just regular snowballs in there as well. And so that can be kind of fun too. And these ones you don't need to worry about alternating the corners, because you can turn the block if it's a plainer fabric. If it's a directional fabric, you will still need to do that. So you could do something like that, and then this block here, if you wanted to, it can either stay upright, or another option would be to turn it, and then of course you'll need the other one because you'll need the corners to match and things like that. So there's just lots of possibilities just with some rectangles and squares there. So converting rectangle units into snowball units and combining them. What more could we want? Leftovers are so much fun. They're so delicious. So that was just one little idea, and then I've got another idea to show you here, also using some of our previously made units. So we made a unit 1, which was a 4 patch, and we made a unit 4, which is a half square triangle. And if we combine those 2, we can make, so if I hold this over here, you can see that this here makes a block. This is commonly known as a jewel box block. And often it's using up small bits of different colours and things and nice jewel tones. It doesn't have to be, of course. You could make a really delicious one in in really muted tones. It depends really what you like. So it's 2 of these units and 2 of these units to a block. Now you could just set the block as is next to each other and you'd end up with something like this. However, if you turn the blocks as you put them together, like I've done here, so that would be one block and that's another block, and that one is now turned. So these meet and these will meet, and you'll end up with this wonderful grid looking thing here. And it's just such a great user upper pattern, and you can do it in so many colours. So I've got a table runner made up here in these really sort of darker, more autumny tones with a dark background instead of this lighter background like I've got up here. And I think that that's kind of nice if you like those colours. It's probably not nice if you don't like those colours. Then I've got another one here where I've used a whole lot of exciting fabrics to make a quilt. Here, again, this is the jewel box block. It's the same block, but I've used this darker, sort of almost a tealy dark colour here. So this here is the actual block, but where they meet, you get this nice meeting of those, and you get the meeting of the squares. So there's another fun way to use it, and I've got one more that I've made. I do quite like the jewel box block, and this one's kind of fun and bright. So I've used yellow, all different yellows, as my background, so that you get this really bright jewel box. And I've kind of done my squares and things in these bluey green tones, and then I've used multicolours for the larger triangle units. So I just thought I'd show you how you can just make your leftovers so very delicious, because what could be more delicious than all these options that we can choose from? So that was our idea from the Leftovers Pantry number 17, with a couple of different ideas for you there. And I will be back to show you some more ideas in part 18.